Mark Rogers TV running down positional units across the country. We stop in the Pac-12 with probably the best defense overall in the conference in 2015 and should feel just about the same caliber of talent on all three levels in 2016. We bring in Jack Follman from Pacific Takes. We've looked at the linebackers. We've looked at the DBs that are arguably each the best or one of the top 2 or 3 units in the Pac-12. The D-line unit, Jack, we talked about it before we started the record. Not necessarily a star player there, but very strong, very deep.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't maybe put it right up there with the linebackers and the defensive backs, but it's not far off. It's a really good, really deep unit with a couple players who had really good seasons in 2015.
When you look at the personnel, who stands out? I know because it's strong and because it's deep and a lot of players in the mix, not necessarily standouts, but to keep an eye on a couple guys.
Yeah, the main guy is Elijah Qualls. He really, in the first half of last season, he seemed like a guy who was on track to be a first-team or second-team All Pac-12 guy. I think he finished with around 25 tackles and 4.5 sacks. And I think all of that came in the first half of the season. So he was on pace for a really big year, kind of replacing Danny Shelton in the middle. He should be coming back healthy, and he's actually listed at 6'1", 320, but heard that he's going to move out to defensive end, which should be really interesting because he has all the athleticism for a guy of that size. It's just incredible. I remember when he came out of high school, they had video of him doing a standing backflip, I think, and he was, a guy around 300 pounds with, he's around 6'1", 6'2". So he's going to be really exciting to watch. I think if he can stay healthy, he's a guy who might end up being right up there with Lotulelei and Eddie Vanderdoes as the best defensive lineman in the conference.
Hey, Jack, not to shoot holes in this defensive scheme or the personnel, I should say, but we talked about it in the linebacking segment. You lose 2 of the best coming off the edge in Travis Feeney and Corey Littleton. If you combine their tackles for loss and their sacks, it's almost 40. And you mentioned that the concern is not replacing them, even though you've got 2 of the best in the conference. That's not really their game coming off the edge. And it doesn't appear as though you, at least in terms of what was produced last season, have that guy or 2 guys that can come off the edge at the D-line position or the DN spot.
Yeah, I think their hope, that's maybe one reason why they're moving Qualls out, is to show that he can rush the passer a little bit. But it's true. If you look at this defense, one thing they really lack is a pure pass rusher, or 2 of them, which you kind of need these days. They have Joe Mathis, who is kind of their hybrid, but he's 6'2", 260, kind of not a speedy guy. They're hoping he can be a better pass rusher, but he's not one of those guys that's just a true get after the quarterback guy. Then after that, they have a wealth of depth of guys who came in moments last year, maybe the year before, who looked good and they were in there, but none of those guys really stand out. Maybe one to watch out for is Benning Potoae, who was a huge recruit 2 years ago, but redshirted last year, but really looks to be in the fold this year and is a huge guy. I think he's listed around 6'2" or 6'3", 285, but I think they hope, get after the passer and disrupt the edges of the offensive line.
Yeah, if you look at the last 2 recruiting classes, they've got 5 guys listed in the top 90 or so players, either at D tackle or D end, and you say Potoae at the 37th ranked, at least according to ESPN, out of Lakewood, Washington, would appear to be, in terms of recruiting status, the biggest prospect there that could break through and make some plays and make an impact. All right, Jack Follman from Pacific Takes helping us out on D tackle at Washington on what could be the best defense in the Pac-12 in 2016. Thanks a lot, Jack.
Thanks, Mark.